Hi, welcome to educator.com and the lesson in Adobe Illustrator CS6. And we're going to talk about layers. So let's get right into it, shall we? And layers are, from the first lesson, it's hard not to deal with layers because they're all here. And the way to think of layers is as transparent sheets that are on top of each other. So for instance, this layer here is on top of the layers that shows the title for layers. And here's my little overview, which covers all of that so that you don't see what's happening now. One way, I can do Command Y, and it chooses everything as outline art. And you can see through all the layers that are visible. So now you can see that that layer is there. So if I wanted to make that one not visible, that's the way to do it. So you click on the eye. So I'm kind of jumping ahead. So let me get back. So then Command Y to bring it back to your preview and not outline mode. Okay, so let's look at the layer panels in depth, which we're already here. So again, I started showing you some things. So I can click the eye tool to make things visible or invisible. And so if I want to lock a layer, that means I can't move anything on it. So here I can move the apple, but if I lock it, then I can no longer move that apple. Okay, also I can select, you see the selection square? That means I can move this to another layer. So here I have a CD player, a CD or a DVD, and I can move this, and it won't change position, but it's now, you can see by the blue outline, it's on another layer. It's on the CD group layer. Okay, so now I can move this back down, drag that down, so that's what the selection square will do. Now when I select the target square, it selects everything on this layer, and the target circle is going to allow me to change their appearances. And we're going to do appearances at a future date on a future lesson. So I won't really go into that right now. Also, when you highlight a layer, when you select a layer, it gets highlighted, and there's always a little triangle in the right-hand corner to let you know. So you have two ways to tell that a layer is selected. Now down here, I have Locate Object, and I'm going to show you that a little bit later. You can make and release a clipping mask, and you can create a new sublayer, and you can create a new layer, and you can delete the selection, which is usually a layer. Okay, so this is your layers panel, and these are the options for the layer panel. Now some of these duplicate what we've already seen, but I can duplicate objects. So I duplicated that layer, which was the name of the layer. Layer name was objects. I can delete the object layer, and this is objects for this layer. So here I can change different things here, make it a template, to show it, to preview it, lock, print, and do it. So preview. As I click OK, I have to get rid of this, so you can see that now this is not being previewed anymore. It's in outline mode. And so even though I went to that to change it, I can change it back here. Oh, that's visibility. So hold on the Option key and bring it back to visibility. Okay. Where was that? Okay. Enter isolation mode. So this puts everything on that layer. It isolates from everything else. So I can't select anything else here, so it's not disturbed. So if you're dealing with a lot of stuff that's a little bit tight, then this helps very well. So, and I'm jumping ahead again. Okay, so, but that's an isolation mode. So we'll come back to isolation. Well, I see, okay, we're here already. So to get out of isolation mode, I click the arrow, or I could hit this escape key, and then we'll get out of isolation mode. So that's how you isolate a layer. Okay, also I can flatten the artwork. Yes, and so now everything becomes on one layer, but there's also still some sublayers. So everything is still individual. Okay, so this is something that Illustrator automatically does. So let me show you how to create a new sublayer on your own. So here, new sublayer. And I can name this whatever I want. So just leave it as it is for now. Yep, didn't quite work as well. So let's see where it went. New sublayer. Oh, I know. So open up all the sublayers, and the new sublayer is down here somewhere. Here are the two layers that I created. So automatically opens it and shows where it goes. Okay. All right. Okay, so let me get back on track here. Okay, so I've shown you the layer panel. Let me get my layers back. Command Z. Command Z is your friend. Okay, so now we're back where I started. Okay, so I showed you the layers panel. I showed you panel options. And also I jumped ahead a little bit and showed you how to isolate a layer. All right. Now let me show you how to create a layer. There are a few ways to do that. I can go new layer, and the new layer is created. Now normally it's numbered layer, whatever the number is, so it's sequential, and it adds up to the amount of layers that you have, even though you may have deleted some layers along the way. But it's always a good idea to name them, because once you keep creating layers and layers upon layers, then it can get a little confusing. Also, you can change the color. So if you don't like gray, you can change it to another color, pink. And again, the different options here, which we're going to get into a little bit later, so I don't want to jump ahead again. Okay, so click OK, and this is how you create a new layer. Another way to create a new layer is down here, create new layer, and a new layer appears. And again, now this time it doesn't give you the option to name it, it just puts it right there. So the preferred way, I think, because you want to name your layers, to get into the habit, just going here, create a new layer, and then naming it right away. It'll save you a lot of grief later. Trust me. Trust me. Okay. So, I mean, you can create as many layers as you want. So, I don't even know what the limit is. So, you get a layer. You get a layer. You get a layer. Everybody gets a layer. So, go to town with it. Okay. So that is how to create a layer. Basically, I've shown you how to select a layer. So it's highlighted and the little arrow is there. But now let me show you how to select many layers, because we've only been selecting one at a time. So I can hold down the Shift key, and I'm holding down the Shift key, and I can select there, and I select all the layers in between. But suppose I have layers that aren't connected to each other. Well, then I hold down the Command key, and then I can choose the layers that I want to select.